You called last Sunday. It lasted maybe 12 minutes. You asked how they were doing. They said fine, a little tired, but fine. You asked about the week. They asked about yours. You said things were busy, but good. They said, that's great. They're glad. You said you'd talk soon. You hung up. And somewhere in the quiet after you set the phone down, something settled. They sounded okay. They sounded like themselves. Good. What you didn't know, what almost no one ever stops to ask, is that they hung up thinking the exact same thing about you. They thought, at least they're okay, at least that. And then they went back to what they were doing, carrying the things they didn't mention, same as you. 2 people, 12 minutes. Both of you walking away thinking the other one was fine. Neither of you was. But that's not the problem. The problem is neither of you knew. Stay with me for a moment because what I'm about to describe is something most people feel in every conversation with their parents, but have never let themselves see clearly. And once you see it, you'll find it in every call you've had with them for years, including the ones you thought were real. Most of us carry a quiet assumption about our parents. We're in contact, we check in. If something were really wrong, if they were struggling, if something had shifted in a way that mattered, they'd say so. That's what the relationship is for. They know they can be honest with us. So if they say they're fine, they must be fine. This belief is comfortable because it requires nothing of us. And it isn't entirely wrong, but it misses something that's been happening on the other end of those phone calls for a long time. Something that, once you understand it, is going to ask something of you. Your parent has been protecting you, not from danger, from worry, from the feeling that they are one more thing on your list. It didn't happen all at once. It accumulated slowly, the way things do in long relationships. They watched you build a life. They saw you working, managing, raising your own kids if you have them, carrying your own weight. And somewhere in that watching, they made a quiet calculation, one they never announced, one they might not even fully recognize in themselves. They decided their loneliness wasn't yours to fix, that the fear before the last doctor's appointment wasn't worth adding to your load, that the mornings that have started to feel heavier, those were theirs to carry, not yours. Not because they don't trust you, because they love you. So when you ask how they are, they answer with love. I'm good, don't worry about me. And they mean it in the way that love, when it's practiced long enough, becomes indistinguishable from the thing it's trying to protect. Here's the part that changes everything. You do exactly the same thing to them. Think about the last time you told your parents something true. Not the version you give on Sunday calls, not busy but good, the kids are great, work is fine, the actual thing. The anxiety that's been louder lately. The question you keep turning over at 2 a.m. The moment last month when you felt genuinely lost and didn't tell anyone, not your partner, not your friends, not them. You didn't tell them because you didn't want them to worry. Because they're getting older, and somewhere in the quiet shift of years, you've started to feel, without ever saying it out loud, that it's your turn now. To be the good news. To be the proof that everything they gave you was worth it. To protect them the way they once protected you. So when they ask how you are, you say, fine. And they hear it, they believe it, they hang up thinking, at least they're okay. When did you last answer that question honestly, not to them, but to yourself? When's the last time you picked up the phone and said, I'm not doing great, I wanted you to know? 2 people who love each other more than almost anyone else in the world, both performing for each other at the same time, neither knowing. The performance works perfectly. That's exactly why it continues. Here's what this costs. Not the relationship, not in any dramatic, visible way. There's no fight, no rupture, nothing you could point to and say, that's where it went wrong. What it costs is quieter than that. Every week, the real conversation gets postponed a little further. The things neither of you has said accumulate at a pace so slow, you don't feel the weight. And over time, over enough Sunday calls, enough 12-minute check-ins where everyone was fine, something hollows out. Not between you and your parent, inside the relationship. Between the version of it you're both performing and the version that's been waiting underneath for years. You know everything about them, their history, their voice, the way they laugh at something before it's even finished. And yet, if you let yourself sit quietly with it, you might realize you haven't actually talked to them in a while. Not really. You've exchanged fine for fine. You've checked in. You've been present in form. But the real one, the conversation underneath, keeps getting rescheduled. And here is the thing about postponed conversations between aging parents and their adult children. They do not wait indefinitely. Your parent wants to know how you actually are, not the version you curate, the actual thing, the fear you're managing quietly, the question you can't answer, the small thing that went right that you downplayed because it felt like too much to share. They want that. They have always wanted that. The greatest gift you can give someone who loves you is to let them in, not to burden them, to honor them, to say, you matter enough to me that I'll show you something real. And you want the same from them. You want to know what they think about in the mornings, what they're still hoping for, what they're carrying that they've never handed you. You want to know your parent, not just the version of your parent that loves you from a careful, protected distance. That conversation is still available to you, but it doesn't start by waiting for the other person to go first. You don't need a plan. You don't need to schedule a deep conversation or prepare what you're going to say. You just need to ask twice. How are you? And then, when they say fine, no, but how are you, really? Then go quiet. Let them decide whether to stay in the performance or step out of it. You might be surprised. People say the truest things when someone asks twice. When they realize they have been given permission to stop being brave for a moment. When the performance is gently named, it often drops on its own. And then, when they ask you back, because they will tell them something real, one thing, not to burden them. Because love without honesty is a beautiful room with all the windows sealed. And you both deserve the air. The performance started because you love each other. It can end the same way. If what just landed here is sitting with you, there's something else I think you should see. I made a video about the specific reason your parents learn to say fine so automatically. Not just with you, with everyone who loves them. The habit runs deeper than protecting you. And there's one moment in that video that reframes every conversation you've ever had with them. It's right there on your screen. And if this is a place you come back to, you're welcome to stay. Take care of each other.